The 2 ways to make $1 million selling real estate in 2024. You guys, there are 2 ways to earn $1 million when you're selling real estate. And I want to break this down in a very simple way for you to understand, okay? The first way is by doing outbound marketing. And the second way is by doing inbound marketing. And I'm going to break these all down because there are layers to each of them. Let's talk about outbound marketing. Well, outbound marketing is where we are actually contacting we are taking ourselves and we are going out to the public to find people that need to sell or buy a home, okay? Now, there are several ways you can do this. The first way is by cold calling, which I have a video on how to master that. Second way is text messaging. Got a video there for you too. The next way is by door knocking. You can go out and you can do handwritten letters where you're actually writing the letter and taking it to an address and dropping it off. Okay. The other way is you can do single line cold calling where you don't necessarily have a dialer. You're using like a cell phone with an app where you can just contact one person individually, or you're doing mass cold calling, right? Where you have a dialer like mojosales.com and you're sending out a bunch of you're doing 100 calls a day, 400 calls a day, 500 calls a day, right? And that's all outbound. It doesn't require that much cash. It's probably the least cost per lead because you're really not spending much money besides the data, your texting software, or for instance, your cold calling software. But it's you reaching out to them in hopes that they are going to answer the phone and say yes or no, or convert that to a lead, okay? That's outbound marketing. You can also do things like driving for dollars where you drive around, you gather a bunch of addresses, right? You take those addresses, you put them into a system, and you send mailers to them, or you cold call them, or you text them, right? Now, mailers is more of an inbound. When I'm sending out a mailer, they're calling me. So just kind of think about that. That would be on more of the inbound. But the outbound is us getting out to them, right? It's the least cost efficient way of doing business. My entire career up until the last 4 years was all based on outbound marketing. I would cold call till my eyes bleed, door knock till my eyes bleed, and I made a lot of money doing it. But I also knew that in order for me to get to the next step, I had to start to create some sort of inbound prospecting for my business, because if not, I would forever be a slave to having to go out and find the deal. Okay, so yes, some of you that have been in the business 10, 20 years, it is time to evolve, baby. It is time for you guys to grow. It is time for us to go into some inbound marketing, because I believe that's what a true business is, okay? Anybody can go out there and make the effort to do so, but can you take that effort? Can you take the money you make from that effort and then start to do inbound? And then here's the secret. Once we have outbound and inbound marketing working for us in our business, now you're unfreaking stoppable, baby, okay? Now you're unstoppable. But you can make $1 million doing outbound, and you can make $1 million doing inbound. So let's talk about inbound real fast. Inbound would be us like spending money to do paid pay-per-click ads, right? Google ads, where I put an ad out, people are calling me. Facebook ads, that's inbound marketing, right? People are calling me. They're calling in. I'm not calling them or texting them. They're texting me, right? Another one is mailers. We talked about mailers on the outbound, right? And you guys, we utilize both. When we pull a list or when we get certain prospects, we not only cold call them, but we also mail them. We'll also create a custom audience in Facebook and directly target them on Facebook to be able to generate that inbound lead. So when we get a list, not only are we outbounding it, but we are also inbounding it. We're using both strategies to bring the most amount of leads into our company. Does this make sense? This is really important, because if you just focus on one, guys, we're leaving a lot of money on the table with the other one. Okay, so we want to be able to stack the two that's efficient and effective. And next, inbound. So we talked about marketing, we talked about PPC, Facebook ads, we talked about mailers, right? The next thing that you guys can do for inbound would be like TV commercials, which cost a lot of money, right? Or you can do radio ads, which also cost a lot of money. You can also do RVMs, right? Ringless voicemails, where and this would actually be more on the outbound, where you send out a bunch of ringless voicemails, and then all of a sudden they call you back asking, what do you want? Or yes, I'm interested. And I know you've gotten a ringless voicemail before, right? Where you've gone onto your phone, you like saw a missed call, you're like, I didn't see that. And then you pick it up and you notice there's a voicemail and you're like, when did they leave that? That's a ringless voicemail, okay? And you guys can go to slybroadcast.com to do so. And it's super cost efficient to do that, right? That's gonna be more on the outbound. Another inbound thing you can do is by creating magazine ads. You ever go to the mall, like the movie theater, and you guys see those ads outside the movie theater with the real estate agent? You guys can do those too. Those are inbound marketing. Now, the best practices and what makes the most amount of money is what I'm gonna break down to you right now. So if you watched this video up to this point, good job. So now what we're gonna talk about is what makes the most amount of money. let's talk about outbound real fast. Texting, number one, hands down, time over time, every single time, texting makes the most amount of money. Second will be tied with cold calling and ringless voicemail, okay? Cold calling and ringless voicemail are a little bit of the two, but texting, hands down, all the way makes the most amount of money. On the other perspective, when we're looking for inbound, what makes the most amount of inbound money? That's gonna be paid pay-per-click ads and mailers. Okay, PPC and mailers are the two top sources that bring the most amount of money in when we're talking about inbound leads. So we got inbound leads and outbound leads. You guys stack those two, it's impossible to make millions of dollars in this industry. The only thing that's gonna stop you are your sales skills, your mindset, and the bullshit thought that you tell yourself on why you cannot do this. So before we do any of this, I want you to believe that it is possible. I want you to believe that you can actually make $1 million text messaging. I want you to believe that you can make $1 million by sending out mailers. You gotta believe that this stuff is possible before you go do it, because if you have the mindset that, oh, this is an expense, I'm not gonna make any money doing this, why am I doing this? Is listening to some stupid guy on TikTok, on YouTube, why the hell am I doing this, and TikTok, and what the hell is going on? I've been there. Poor mindset equals poor results. You fix your mind, you fix your results. So don't get into this unless you know that you're gonna succeed. Don't start doing any of what I'm telling you until you firmly believe that you can do this, okay? Now, some of you are just like, Adrian, I don't believe I can do it, but I'm gonna freaking try it. Yeah, let's go for it, baby. But if you're talking yourself out of it before you even do it, just stop. Pick up the phone and cold call. Let's cold call instead. Let's gain some confidence, okay? All right, some added material for you. All right, guys. Let's take action on this. Inbound, outbound. I want to know, what are you going to focus on? Comment on the link below. Let me know if you have any questions on how to do so. There's also a bunch of best practices videos. You guys, I hope you utilize this. Choose. What are you doing? Inbound, outbound, and how much money you're going to make this year. Let's go.